Hello everyone and welcome to a new video from Your Overwatch. I'm Eddie the Chump and today we'll be talking Lucio, people's perceptions of how to play him and how speed boost is actually his most important ability. Oh Lucio, what is it about you that makes everyone think you're so easy to play? And at first glance, he really is. This is one thing that you can't avoid when analysing Lucio or making an advanced guide like this, is that mechanically he is very easy. There's not a lot to him. Press E, seemingly. Press E, shift and right click. But here's the thing, the difficulty in Lucio, and why there aren't actually that many good Lucios online, at least in solo queue, is that Lucio is all game sense. It's not that what you have to do is hard, it's that when to do it is a difficult decision to make. Firstly, let's talk about something that's underrated about Lucio, and that's actually his damage. He doesn't output an incredible amount. His gun is a 4-burst projectile, and only really does any sort of effective damage if you hit targets in the head. However, with practice, you can actually output more damage than you think you might be able to at first. With the gameplay in the background, you're going to see me make a call for a Reinhardt, and the reason for this and why I chose it as an example is I wanted to show you just how powerful his speed boost can be. In the first example, one of our solo queue teammates actually changes to a Reinhardt because I ask for it. And then I call the strat, speed boost left room. Now as a team we lucked out on the fact that they had a Symmetra and a Hanzo, but this death ball technique is actually still really powerful, especially against people who aren't set up to defend against it. I wanted to use this gameplay for two reasons. One, to show how powerful this technique is, and two, to show that to actually have an effect on the game, as a Lucio player you should not rely on being a healer. That is to say, it's not actually your primary role. Your primary role as Lucio is giving your team positioning, and that's not just on offense. I've made this argument before, but pros do this all the time. Pro Lucios will often speed boost their team away if they go a man down in a team fight. The reason they do this is to not continue an unwinnable fight and feed the enemy team's ultimates. So in a way, Lucio actually has huge responsibility on his shoulders for such an easy, in quotation marks, character to play. Let's just quickly deal with a few concepts. Lucio's area of effect heals, without being amped, are actually kind of poor. And as a team, you shouldn't build around Lucio being your main healer. One of the most popular setups at the moment is a Lucio Zenyatta. I would consider Lucio and Zen both off healers. Neither of them are as good at strictly healing as Mercy, but together they can actually get the job done. No, the reason why they're picked over Mercy quite often in the modern meta is because the other advantages that they bring, and in Lucio's case, that's speed and positioning. One of the most important partnerships that Lucio can have in the game is with Reinhardt. Now obviously a few metas ago, all we ever saw were Reinhardt Lucio death balls. With D.Va getting buffed and a few other changes, it's not quite so common anymore. And it does have a few effective counters. One of the few times where Junkrat is actually viable on defense is against a Lucio Reinhardt speed boost death ball. But unless you know it's coming and are therefore prepared for it, it can be almost impossible to defend against. One of the things you really don't want to do on defense is to be fighting an entire team on the point. And if your Lucio is good and times his speed boost well, that can be a lot sooner than you think, even after losing the first point. So what are the things to consider when playing Lucio at an advanced level? Well, the decision whether to health amp or speed amp is actually incredibly crucial. And the reason for that is it actually has quite a long cooldown. So when you press that E button, you've committed to making a decision. One thing that you can do, however, as Lucio builds his ultimate quite quickly due to his area of effect heals, is you can combine his speed boost with a drop the beat on a push. This is the best of both worlds. Most pro Lucios, as soon as they've actually pressed speed boost and they've taken the positioning that they want, immediately switch to healing. Because of the weight of responsibility on a Lucio's shoulders, he actually makes a good character for someone who's going to make calls. The reason is that Lucio is usually at the front line behind a Rein shield and can see a lot more than maybe some other characters. As with everything, timings are incredibly important. And if your team isn't organised and you call a speed boost and no one comes with you, well that's just pretty much a team wipe. So what are the things to take away if you're a Lucio player from this guide? The first principle is that the speed boost is actually more powerful than his heal, and if timed correctly can turn the tide of a team fight. The second is don't underestimate his damage. And the third is don't rely on Lucio to be your main healer. If Lucio is in health mode too often, you're not getting the most out of him. Ultimately, I'll use a term that Fredo likes to use. The speed boost is where Lucio's value lies, and if you're going to play at higher ranked levels in competitive, you better get used to using it and understanding when to execute. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like. If you'd like us to talk about anything in specific, please don't hesitate to leave a comment below. I've been Eddie the Chump, and until next time,